Welcome to the Rubber Onion Animation Podcast. We are fueled by an active community here, so if you want to participate, Rubber Onion is one word, I'm everywhere, and the hashtag is Rubber Onion Podcast. Use those, and we'll see you. Everything else you can find on the website. I'm animator Stephen Brooks. I'm the Rubber Onion. My co-host is animator Rob Yulfo. This is an animation news episode. Let's do this.
I'm Don Bluth.
I'm Harry Partridge.
Hi, I'm Tom Moore, teenage superhero.
My name's Adam Phillips.
This is Robert Valley.
And I'm in no way doing a forced plug. No, sorry. I won't say that.
And you're listening to...
I'm seeing a lot of Stephen Brooks lately.
What do you mean? By temporally or the physical size of my head on screen?
Your head is perfectly proportioned to your environment as opposed to mine.
Yes. I understand.
So, my head is just taking over.
Temporally. So a lot of Brooks. Yes, we just recorded another lunchtime episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's what just happened during this lunchtime.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not lunchtime now. It's like 9:30 now, but
yeah.
But today, yeah, we actually hung out during lunch. Actually had lunch.
Yeah.
And talked during lunch. Nice solid hour-long episode, which it came out pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Good food.
It's food that nobody can eat, and that they have to listen to. I mean, you got to go up to that tier on Patreon. I think right now it's up to $15. So if you want to listen to us eat food and chat, I mean, it's a brand new. It's a totally different show. We're not stuck to animation. We talk about all sorts of things on those.
Yeah, lots of flavors.
Lots
to choose in the menu there of variety of a cornucopia of deliciousness.
Cornucopia. Look at you pulling that out.
I just know it from Thanksgiving.
Right, yeah. Well, on this show we talk about only animated things. But
there is one that's food related. Actually,
what? No, we're not talking about that one.
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Just to give a preview, that one that he's referring to is animal crackers. Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot to talk about there as far as distribution and the long story short, they've been in what they call development hell, distribution hell for a few years, and they went over budget, and it's just caused all sorts of problems. I think there's a piece on Variety that details it all, so you can read it. I love stories like that. Not now, because like it's terrible that it's very difficult. I mean, the movie was already made, so I guess the animators are already paid, but it's bad for the filmmaker. I mean, nobody wishes that kind of thing, but I do enjoy reading on Variety or on the Hollywood Reporter. Sometimes they have these kind of breakdowns of what happened from start to finish in a production of something.
Yeah,
and I really love those deep dives.
We've been talking about that movie for a while. Animal
Crackers? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kind of wonder if, I didn't do a search for it, but I wonder if I search, if it'll actually come up, if I like typed it in. Because remember a while ago when we used to talk about, stories, I would link the news story in the blog post itself.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Was it a trailer talk or or we were just talking about movies to come?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Well, we were talking about movies to come. I don't think there was a trailer yet. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Episode 55.
Wow.
Episode 55.
I would have guessed like maybe I don't know, episode 200 or
or 100 and something.
yeah.
No, we talked. We talked about like Strange Magic. To be released January 23rd, 2015. I like how it says to be released. Let's see. DreamWorks Animation, Hasbro, they ended their merger talks. There's an Armacrog trailer. I think that was a new game. The Peanuts movie gets 5 new HD photos. That was before the Peanuts movie even came out.
Wow.
Oh my God. New segment, Rapid Fire.
Whoa! Look at that.
Look at that.
Birth of Rapid Fire.
Right? And here, the Rapid Fire stories. I even put these down here. Cannon Busters, the animated pilot. Michelle Obama debriefs Penguins of Madagascar. Overwatch cinematic trailer. This is crazy. It's really funny going back in time and like looking at all this.
What was the title of that episode?
Hasbroni.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's also Andrew Keiko was
Spotlight Guess?
Yes, we did have him. There was an interview. Yeah, conversation with one of our October Rubber Onion fan art competition winners, Andrew Keiko, and it was the "I Need a Catchphrase" illustration of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at that. I'm going to read the description. I like to call these episodes classic. That's so funny. We've got news from the animation world and an interview with one of our Rubber Onion fan art competition winners, Andrew Keiko. Lucasfilm surprised us with a new movie coming out in 2 months. New point-and-click game by the Neverhood creators is coming soon, and we talk a whole bunch about the Peanuts high-res images. This was one day before the trailer leak. And we have a brand new segment, Rapid Fire. Here we take the stories that you suggested, which we don't have too much to say about, and we blast through them with our little derisive and supportive comments.
Still.
Oh no! It's without little derisive or supportive comments. So it's just talking about the thing.
Yeah.
I really like Rapid Fire. We haven't been doing a lot of Rapid Fire just because, I used to ask for stories on Facebook for people to share the stories on Facebook, and we have been so periodic with the release of the episodes lately that it's been hard to like. Normally I would say, okay, it's that time of the week again. Send me your stories, and I just get a whole bunch of stories. Some of them we talk about on the show, and then the rest of them just go to Rapid Fire. It was a great way to do it, but now I'm picking them so that we can actually talk about something, and then I want the Rapid Fire segments to come back though.
It would be weird for us to be on hiatus and then do a rushed episode of Rapid Fire. It's like, all right, let's get this over with. Yada yada yada. Animal crackers and Cupheads.
Yeah, Cupheads.
Are you? By the way, are you drinking?
It's funny. I'm gonna tell you that this is an actual true statement I am about to make. In the office, there was close to my desk for like two of the years was a small fridge that had LaCroix in it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the only reason I started drinking LaCroix was because they kept hiding the water bottles. Like the bottled water. Yeah. Like I was looking for bottled water, and it used to be over the fridge, and then it was like under a cupboard, and then it was on top of something else. And I kept looking for it, and it was always in a different spot. I think maybe it was like it was more expensive than what they wanted. I think it was on purpose. They kept like hiding it places. So I was like looking as you're drinking water. I kept looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, all right, everyone's going crazy over this LaCroix. Let's see what it is. Now, some of them are bad. The one that I would get is this pamplemousse, which I thought was funny just because it's like, was it the French word for grapefruit? I was like, that's so unnecessary to call it.
Pampermousse?
Pample. I mean, I'm sure it's like pamplemousse or something like that. I don't know. I don't speak French, but yeah. Anyway, so I would get that one. I would drink that one. Since I've been working from home, of course, I haven't been drinking any LaCroix. Now, the other thing LaCroix would do is that they had soda at work, right? I didn't want to drink soda because sometimes I would forget to eat. So all I'm having is caffeine and sugar, and it would get me all hopped up and I'm shaking and everything, and I didn't want to do that. So I got LaCroix because I had something to drink. If they had bottled water there, I would have drank that, but they had LaCroix. And so that's what got me into it. And then as I'm home, you going back to work, I remember us talking about it, and like I actually had you going back to work. This is your first week back after the hiatus. And I had it on my calendar. It pops up on my phone. And I ordered, when I was ordering some food from the deli, they also have these grocery options that are on there. And I saw one of the grocery options was a pack of LaCroix.
Uh-huh.
And so I went, you know what? I'm gonna buy a pack of LaCroix. It's gonna make me feel like I'm back in the office. And sure enough, right, but I don't know if you can see it. No, it's behind that bag. No, it's in that bag. That bag right there.
Yeah.
Is the box of LaCroix. So what I'm drinking right now is LaCroix. This is exactly the path that I think the entire office going world has taken toward LaCroix. I wanted one thing, they didn't have it, but they have a ton of this other thing. It's no calories and no caffeine, so I'm like, sure, I'll drink that. And now I'm almost nostalgic for it.
I drank a lot of LaCroix when I was working there. So I'm a LaCroix boy as well.
You made that joke so many times, and I hate it. It made me hate it so much more. Because I remember you didn't know how it was pronounced, and I said LaCroix, and you're like, LaCroix? I said LaCroix, you're like, and then you made the joke about LaCroix Boy, and then you just, and that was the very first time you figured out, and then you say it over and over.
I cannot hear LaCroix without having to say that tagline to it. I'm like their mascot. However, I do not.
That's a painful life you live.
Here comes LaCroix Boy. Then I break through the wall like the Kool-Aid guy. But like,
bonjour.
This is Kool-Aid guy with a what are those hats? Yeah,
beret.
I was gonna say a baguette, but does the bread.
That's bread.
You don't wear a baguette? So I have a Coors Light.
Ah, a LaCours Light.
So should I open this on the mic?
You're a liqueur whore. Really? Nothing for liqueur whore?
Oh, look, a whore.
No, Coors whore. Man, you know what? I feel like that's retribution for your terrible joke. That was a good one.
It was. I was too focused on trying to open this can.
Yeah, I know. I can see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear the second pop.
Oh, well, it happened.
It just went and then... Okay, all right.
That was me telling it a secret.
Or training it like a...
the can design has...
What's the dog trail? What's that mean? Wait, why is that significant?
Because I'm wearing glasses. So you are what you drink?
Man, you are totally the guy that would just see some like mud on the wall. Like, it's a sign. It's just glasses, man. You wear glasses, like half of the world.
Yeah, but they're black glasses. They look like my glasses. You know, I think it makes sense.
No, they don't. No, those ones those ones are pointy edged glasses.
Yeah, but they still have
They're
the
horn rimmed.
all right, never mind. You're right.
I am right.
I only say that just.
By the way, we're gonna try to keep this a clean episode, since I was called out on the Battle Talk for being the one who broke it, and also because my sister sent me a message when we did the review of Willoughby's. I recently shared that up on Instagram, and my sister sent me a message, and she's like, "Is this good enough for young ears?" Specifically for my niece, who loved the movie, and she's like, she wants to, hear Uncle Steve talk about it. So I was like, I labeled it clean, but I don't remember. So I kind of like open sourced question to Discord to ask if that was,
Maybe we could make like Rubber Onion Jr. episodes.
I really don't want to do that. It was like part of my mission statement that we would not restrict ourselves in this way, but I'm gonna do it on this one, just because I think none of the stories really warrant anything like that.
I did say LaCroix.
Oh.
LaCroix, and then I said the a certain thing after that.
LaCroix.
I said I said
Boy?
LaCroix.
Wait.
Horror.
Well, I said that too. I said, all right, fine. That's not. Well, I mean, it's not a swear word.
Yeah, I guess not. Oh, so we could say, all right, never mind. All right, let's.
Anything that you could put on TV, man. What is this? Do we not know how to do the podcast anymore?
Did we ever?
I do.
All right, let's get with these stories.
Let's get with these stories. Oh man, you know what? I was going to start. You know what? I will start with this one because it's a positive story. It was a terrible story when it came out, but do you remember the arson attack on the Kyoto Animation? Yeah. So that was last year, and two things happened recently. The guy was finally like charged. I don't know. There was different people saying different things about why it took so long. Some people saying because they have to. I don't know. It takes a certain amount of time to like charge him, or I don't know what it was, but I tend to think that it was probably closer to the other one, which was he was also damaged in the fire, like he was burned in the fire, and I think that he had to like get better and then get like out of the hospital before he could be finally charged. But anyway, yeah, I think so, because I think we probably do something like that here as well. I mean, if he has to be in the hospital, prisoners get taken to hospitals to get care. They just get taken to certain places, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, point is, he was charged, and then not too long after that, but recently now, they're hiring again, which is a really good story. It's a good story to start off with. Are they in a different location,
or did they rebuild reconstruct the building?
On the building itself? That's a good question. I actually don't know if it's in the same building or not. I don't know. There's a sister studio, Animation Do. I guess I don't know if it's Animation Do, but if it's Japanese, then it would be Do, D-O. But courses run for a year from October. Applicants. That's for its animator training program. Oh, then it's the Animation Do, definitely. Animator training program in its sister studio. So anyway, here's some of the rates that they have. The hourly rates for animators. They're about $10. Looks like it says starts at 10. It says 1,000 yen. Once they're hired as full-time staff, they're paid a monthly salary of about $2,000, and then that includes the first of about a little less than 2,000 bucks worth of overtime. Extra overtime results in more pay. Sorry, not 2,000, 200. Yeah, they're saying it in yen, and I'm like moving the numbers over. So it's a little less than 2,000 monthly, and that comes with it the same way that ours does. Comes with it an assumption of overtime, and that overtime is about let's say 250 bucks worth of overtime. And then if you do extra overtime, you get more pay. They get benefits. We talked about that before on the show that we had discussed the whole this was all news to me on how they had treated. I don't know much about the animation industry in Japan, but it also includes about $250 to $300 per month for travel expenses and the possibility of bonuses. That's huge. Those kinds of benefits are huge, and I think they started to do a profit sharing type of situation. Like they were starting to do that when all this went down. Anyway, it's just, I think what we said around this time was that it would be a real shame for the industry as a whole if this terrible act knocked them out of the industry in Japan, because it seemed like Kyoto Animation's entire presence in Japan was a really positive thing, and it was really good for artists and good for animators. They pay better than most studios. They treat their animators better. They listen to their animators better because it was started by an animator, I believe, or at least an artist. Anyway, I just wanted to start off with that positive news. If nobody had heard that.
Yeah, it's good. And a year, it seems, it seemed longer for some reason, but that is a short amount of time to get back into it.
Yeah, when was that? That was in July, right? Of last year. I think that was in July. I'm gonna look it up on like which episode we talked about it on. Okay, it was on episode 252, People Cats.
Oh.
Which of course we made the joke about another disaster in cats, I'm sure. Because we can't be serious. It's painful for us.
And how ironic. Recently we did
looks
Big
like
Cat People for April's Bad.
That's right. We did Big Cat. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so that was positive. You were saying something, or was
no.
interrupt you?
No. Just it's great that they're getting back in like a short amount of time, and just kind of hopefully they can pick up and just start going.
Yeah. I guess it was only in one studio building. It was in the company's first studio building. And just to recap, that fire, that attack that he committed, killed 36 people, injured 33 more. And I mean, it was basically every single person who was in the studio. Yeah. I mean, I think there was something like 70 to 80 people in the studio itself, and it was every single one of them had to be treated for something or perished in the fire. So it was a terrible thing. Last year looks like it was July 18th, 17th, 18th. It might have been July. It might have been July 18th, July 17th or 18th. I'm not sure because of the, they're depending on the time of the year. Yeah. They're like,
I wonder
up to 14 hours.
I wonder if they were in the process of like animating something, and like, are they continuing on a project that they had started while, like, when that happened. You know what I mean?
Well, they must have been.
But are they continuing?
Yeah, they must have been.
Or something, or are they just dropping it?
I'm not sure. I mean, they're hiring, so they're clearly working on something. I don't know that they've announced exactly what they're working on, but regardless, it's a positive story. I just want to leave off on that, or just start off on that.
Cool.
I like how you ask me questions that I don't know the answer to. And like I'm reporting this, and you didn't read anything about this, but you just expect me to have done all the research for this.
Have you spoke with them recently? What are their future projects?
Man, boy. Let's move to another story here. Let's keep it international at least. Weta is going to start producing original animation with Peter Jackson on board as director. You hear about this?
I did hear about this from you, actually.
From me, yes. From the last time that we did a show and I shared all this stuff with you. Yeah.
As their former company was Dryer.
You're saying Weta is actually the New Zealand pronunciation of wetter?
Yeah, it's very possible.
It's Weta and Weta. Just keeps getting wetter and wetter.
Weta outside is frightful. I'm so sorry.
You don't need to drink it. He tried to take a victory sip of Coors, and he knew how bad it was. He couldn't even drink. No, I mean this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Weta is responsible for some of the greatest visual effects that we have ever seen. And obviously it doesn't really take too much to jump from that to just full animate. There was what am I thinking of? Oh, you know what? Actually, it was a friend of ours, Tristan, who posted just a random open question of what's the best animated fight scene that you've seen? And someone posted the King Kong versus the three, they're not T-Rexes, but whatever they're called, from Peter Jackson's movie. And really, aside from Naomi Watts, who I probably most of the time is a digital double anyway, it's all CG. The whole thing is CG,
scene, yeah.
And it's fantastically choreographed. I mean, it starts out on just regular, just on land fighting one, and then another one comes in, and then they all kind of fall down a cavern, and then they're swinging. There's another set piece there, and then they fall down again, and then they're at another place, and it's first of all, if you really stop to think about it, you just think this very, very large dinosaur couldn't care that much about eating Naomi Watts.
Yeah, that's like a Dorito or something, or like a cheese doodle.
Yeah. I mean, really, at that point, if you wanted to turn the attention toward King Kong, fine. But it was like King Kong wasn't even there, and King Kong just keeps having to fight off these creatures who are trying to eat Naomi Watts, and they're only chomping toward Naomi Watts. If these were real animals, they would definitely be ganging up on King Kong. He is definitely the better meal here.
Maybe too hairy.
Too hairy?
Yeah, I don't want to get that stuck in their teeth.
Naomi Watts is all hair and bones, according to to their size.
True, but it's a little smaller, I guess. Smaller amount.
Yeah, I mean that would be like eating an emaciated anchovy. like where it's literally just all skin and bones. There actually is no meat there.
I do love the design of the T-Rex, which is not a T-Rex, maybe, I don't know, but
it's not.
Because I feel like once Jurassic Park made their dinosaurs, that was it, and just try to redesign a dinosaur would have been it's so impossible to do. Seems like, and they managed to do a good job on designing that dino.
Yeah. Yes, it was dynamite. You know what? You don't get. Did we swear, by the way? Did I get upset? Did I swear yet? I don't even know. Okay. You don't get to say anything to me about my bad jokes.
Fine. Yes. I said the weather outside is frightful, so I can't.
Yes,
really
you did.
Continue now.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. I mean, that's first of all, it's a big deal. I'm actually looking at their Wikipedia page right now, and just to look at their visual effects filmography, The Frighteners and Contact. Remember that? That's like way early in the beginning, 1996, 1997. I think he created it in 1994 so that he could, so that Peter Jackson could get visual effects for Heavenly Creatures, which is his first movie, I think, or feature maybe. And then they went right on to the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's a jump.
Like that is a jump. And then after that, they take a nice little breather with Van Helsing. It's just and then they go iRobot, King Kong. Let's skip X-Men Last Stand. Nobody cares about that one. And they got some things. They got Aragon, Enchanted, Bridge to Terabithia. All right, fine. But then you got Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. We got Jumper. We got District 9. Avatar. Predators, which was the movie that we thought was so funny because it was so bad. It wasn't bad. It was just like hokey. X-Men First Class, Adventures of Tintin, The Avengers, Prometheus, obviously Hobbit, Man of Steel, Iron Man 3, Wolverine. I mean, they have at least done things for like every major special effects extravaganza.
Yeah, a lot of big ones in there.
I mean, you know how these big ones. I like when you have something like the Avengers, you have something like Avengers Endgame. There's not one studio that's taking all those visual effects. That would be impossible. It's split up amongst a bunch of different places. But the point is, they have been working steadily, very, very, very steadily, since the beginning, and have just groundbreaking visual effects. And now they're going to start doing animation. Like strict animation. They're actually focusing on making an animated world that doesn't necessarily have to tie in with. You don't have to deal with compositing. I mean, you have to still deal with compositing for animation, but not compositing with live action.
Yeah.
It's. I wonder what this will do. And I remember us talking about. Actually, you know what? Didn't I just bring this up in like? What was it? I was reading the topic for like episode 55 or something like that, and I think I brought up a Blizzard let's see, there was Overwatch cinematic trailer, and I seem to remember maybe it was that one where we said how incredible that cinematic trailer was, and the storyboard and everything, the action, the way that you saw the different powers of the different characters, and I mean it's incredible what game companies can do with their animation team. And you have Weta, who can finally be unrestrained from, playing supporting role in visual effects and finally make original content. I really, really, really want to see what they can do.
So they'd just be in competition with, Disney, DreamWorks, I guess Pixar as well, as far as like.
Are you just listing off?
Well, I know it's like there's a smaller group of strictly animation studios, so it'd be interesting to see someone else throw their hat in the ring.
Well, there's a lot of animation studios. I think you're saying like big ones. Like they already come in with a huge name. Yeah, that's true.
So it'll be interesting to see them in competition with, like whenever like another Minions movie comes out.
Yeah. So in his statement, Peter Jackson said, quote, "We are huge fans of animated storytelling in all of its forms, but it can be a long, protracted, and often costly way to make movies. That's in part why we have created this company, to change the model and open the doors to filmmakers and storytellers who might not otherwise be given the chance to show what they can do." Now, I do find this interesting. I wonder what his approach is going to be in the way of like, now is he saying that it can be a long, protracted, and costly way to make movies, and therefore we have come up with a way to make it easier to do that? In which case you're probably talking about AI assisted mocap. That would probably be something along those lines. Which doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It just means, you would take mocap and then you would have to put it through some sort of learning software to adjust it in a way that animators would adjust it, and then go in and fine tune other types of things. That's fine if that's the way that they're going about it. That is a field of study right now, so makes sense. But the other side is, what if what he's saying is that it is expensive and it takes a long time, and because of that, all the big companies that make animated movies right now are not taking any risks, and we think that we're the company to do that. That would be very,
I would hope if that's the direction that they're going with.
Well, because then you'll get a Rango.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you get stuff like that. When someone just comes in and was like, had Gore Verbinski come in and just do his weird combination of like, is this a kids movie or is this a murder fest?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see an animated movie that doesn't end with like a big dance number.
Yeah, I know.
We saved the world. Oh yeah, I got a good feeling. Yeah, I got a feeling that I never do. You brought up a good point about that song, where you're like, wait, she has a good feeling. No, sometimes she has a good feeling, but then she gets a feeling that she never knew. But how does she get that sometimes if she never knew that feeling? And I was like, whoa.
That's the paradox, man. It's deep. It's deep. That's a. Did we just bring this up in a previous? I can't remember what if we brought this up. Maybe it was in the lunchtime episode. A dumb guy wit.
Oh yeah.
Was that the lunchtime episode?
Yeah.
Man, part of me is like, part of me is so sad that it's at the highest tier. I mean, I have to, of course, make it the highest tier because we had to launch a totally new show, which of course requires a bit of extra funds there. So it sucks because obviously there's not a ton of people who are there. Like, I want people to hear these lunchtime episodes, but they're behind that paywall. But yeah, that was one of them. My coining of the phrase "dumb guy wit,"
which is my favorite.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next story then. And this one was one that you actually shared with me, which was came from some website called NME.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video about it, and then they were like, "Oh, I got it from this site." But the guy usually posts this from like reliable sources.
I mean, I just wish that they would say what NME stands for.
Yeah, it could be.
Because I mean, I'm looking at it, and I see like no about me page or anything like that.
It's like it's a Russian site.
But what is it? Then what does NME stand for? That's the question. Why can't you make it easier for me to... Anyway, let's just bring up what they said. So this was... Apparently, Christine Belson, the president of Sony Pictures Animation, said that she believes that there will be a boom in animated titles aimed at older audiences as a result of the coronavirus crisis. Wow, I cannot speak at the moment. COVID-19 will lead to a boom in R-rated animated movies. they say. There are a couple that we're working on. First, let's get your initial thoughts, because you shared this with me, and I'll say what.
I mean, what was disappointing about Sausage Party? You didn't see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was the whole concept, and the trailer was really smart to make it look like a Pixar movie. And then when the movie started, right off the bat, they just started cursing, and it just kind of ruined any kind of magic about it. If they completely went through it and then the whole Disney-like aspect and then went for the cursing, that would have been great. So I think that was a huge opportunity for a rated R animated movie, because we haven't had that since, I don't know, maybe the 80s or 70s, with Ralph Bakshi and stuff like that. That would be 70s if you're talking Fritz the Cat. So it's just I'm hoping that it is more of a anime thing, where the anime world has more rated R animation, and it's definitely something that could have been a movie, but they also just kind of a horror movie. We talk about that a lot, making rated R horror movies. And
oh man, I can't tell you, I was actually thinking about that the other day. I don't even know why this came up. I think I had a dream or something, but I was thinking about horror movie, an animated horror movie, and I started getting all these images in my head, and we always say that stop motion would be a really great medium, a really great medium of animation for horror, but you could do the same thing with hand-drawn animation. I believe that probably the easiest way in is psychedelic horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the easiest. That's probably the easiest avenue in when talking about hand-drawn animation. But anyway. But here's a quote that she says that's down here. Speaking at a conference, says that the challenges of filming during the pandemic have led to production companies placing a greater emphasis on animated titles. Quote, I don't think you're going to see more family animated movies because that's very saturated. There will be more R-rated movies. There are a couple we're working on, and we're really excited about releasing our first one. Here's the one that stuck out in my head. I think you're going to see PG-13 animated movies, which is something you haven't seen before. Harder action adventure sort of stuff. Now, it's the which is something you haven't seen before, and then follow with harder action adventure sort of stuff that I take great exception to. Especially as the president of Sony Pictures. Now, if what she's saying is that Sony has not released harder action adventure stuff in the PG-13 realm, granted. I think Spider-Verse was supposed to be, but then wasn't. I don't really remember. And of course, as far as PG-13 goes, a lot of times it's, comedy. I mean, animation in general, comedy is the tried and true tested thing. But I just did a real quick search for PG-13 animated movies, and we got The Simpsons movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Isle of Dogs, Beowulf, The Breadwinner, Loving Vincent, 9, Animatrix, Hulk vs. Persepolis, Triplets of Belleville, 8 Crazy Nights, Cool World, Bebe's Kids. There are plenty of PG-13 animated movies.
Hey everyone, Stephen Brooks here, cutting into my own show to let you know that this episode is supported by listeners like you on patreon.com/rubberonion. If you like what you get from this show, you see value in it and want to keep it going, consider becoming a patron and get basically everything related to the podcast early and or exclusive, including our new Podcastimation, which you get to see a full month early. It's like a subscription, but you get to pick the amount. The more you give, the more you get. The show can go on. Patreon.com/rubberonion. Check it out. As always, thanks for listening, and let's all meet up back at the forum on rubberonion.com. I'll see you there.
Now, it's possible that some of those have changed their ratings based on either re-releases or releases in the international market, but all of those have at least one version that is in the PG-13 realm. And out of those, I mean, you got like Bebe's Kids and 8 Crazy Nights and Triplets of Belleville. Let's see. I guess I put Isle of Dogs in there. Simpsons movie. I mean, those are they're PG-13 because of probably language and adult content or adult themes or something along those lines. But it's not really harder action adventure. But then you get, I mean, Beowulf is definitely in that category. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, definitely there. Animatrix, definitely there. 9 was specifically an adventure film.
Oh, I haven't seen 9.
Hulk Versus is, it's action, I guess. I wouldn't really call it hard, but, it's action. Cool World. Cool World is kind of a noir film. It's basically like, I don't know, it's like Bakshi's answer to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it was
incredible,
pretty cool.
That world.
So anyway, I mean, the thing is, if you're talking PG-13, we've done that before. Like, I get that you're talking Sony. You're talking, this is a big, but
It almost felt like she didn't want to scare them.
It's not like
she didn't want to scare the crowd too much. Like, oh, we might be a little
by saying R, yeah.
But it's not completely R. I mean, we dip our toes in some danger.
So I finally got, again, this is something that came up in the lunchtime episode, but we're talking about how I had ordered a Chromecast because I can't watch anything on HBO Max on my Roku TV because the only thing I have is HBO Go. Like, that's the only app that's there. So I actually paid $30 to get a Chromecast so I could plug it into my already smart TV so I could watch stuff on HBO Max. So one thing that I'm going to be doing this week, probably tomorrow, maybe next day, is I'm going to watch Primal.
Oh yeah.
I just want to sit down. I may do that. Well, probably not tonight. It's pretty late tonight, but I may do that like tomorrow night, or if I got to wait till next week, then it'll be like after work next week. Just sit down with a little glass of whiskey, little thing of bourbon, and just plop myself on the couch and just watch some dialogue-free, crazy, Conan-esque. What was the name of the artist? Frank Frazetta? Is that the name of the artist?
I think so.
Yeah. Frank Frazetta. Watch some crazy early Conan comic inspired violence and where cavemen and dinosaurs are together. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I saw a clip. I think you sent it to me. I was like, oh, this looks great.
Yeah,
this is awesome storytelling.
I think I watched maybe 3 episodes or something.
Yeah, so that's something that I'll do. But that also got me thinking, like, that was on TV. And how many things are on TV? Like, honestly, you look at something like Metalocalypse. If that were a movie, that would be PG-13 if it was aired as is. But if they made that into a movie, I can't imagine that they wouldn't go R.
Oh, yeah, it would be a definite R. With all the violence and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying PG-13 as is because it was shown on TV. But, I mean, maybe it would have gone R. It's weird the way that works. It's like the censors. It's almost like because you can't restrict a movie to be shown at certain times, but you can restrict a show to be shown certain times. It's almost like sometimes they give a pass to TV to allow you to get away with stuff that you wouldn't necessarily get away in the PG-13 realm for movies. You'd have to go up to an R because it's like they just assume that if they give it a certain TVMA rating, which really is, like a PG-13 maybe, or hard PG-13, a light R, if you will.
Our light.
A short P. That's a callback from our last battle talk.
Yeah, as long as you don't use naughty language.
It's a funny world of censorship. Yeah. It's there,
and you can show whatever violence you want. Just don't drop any swear words.
Yeah, like this episode.
Exactly.
I don't know. It is interesting that I think what is significant is that she's talking about it. The president of Sony Pictures Animation is saying it and talking about it. And this is something that we've been wanting to happen for a while. We want some, at least the animation, the big animation, the high levels of animation production, the big studios to start making things that are aimed at adults.
Yeah, and not necessarily anything. It doesn't have to be always silly. Like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if this children's show was not a children's show? If you did something.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. That's one angle to do. But it's just about diversifying the content base. That's all it is. It's just taking the medium and allowing for a bit more creativity and a bit more play. And I feel like we have been stuck in this like comics code era of animation for so long, and we're just waiting for this moment where we're gonna get like Image Comics coming out or something that's gonna shake up, get some violence in there, get some drama in there, get some, let's deal with drugs and sex and
man, if you get
violence and
Robert
horror
Valley
and
to do a full motion picture, that'd be great.
It would be great. I finally saw his section of Love, Death, and Robots, by the way.
Oh, I saw it too. Yeah, it's great.
It was awesome. It was great, and the final, like, seeing where it goes, like ultimately the story was actually good, and it was this kind of, I don't know what it is. I like I wouldn't say it's hard sci-fi. It's kind of it has a tongue-in-cheek kind of quality to it, but taken really seriously. Yeah. It's almost like someone had this one thought and then just took it super seriously and made it. It's like, this is awesome. It was really good. He's got such a style, man. He's got such a and what an odd choice of story to do, and he just did it wonderfully. I mean, that to me that's the director at work.
Yeah, I still think one of our my favorite as far as guest goes of the podcast.
Oh yeah, he was great. Yeah. Well, do you have any more thoughts on?
No, I mean, I would like to see it in a different direction. I think Adult Swim is was kind of like a nice step into like kind of rated R looking, animation and stuff. So if we can bridge that to theaters, that'd be great.
Totally.
There's lots of stuff on TV, but look at Spawn on HBO when that came out back in the day. How big that was, and I think it was pretty successful. So I think they're mostly worried about not getting an audience, because you hear animation and you think, how are we going to bring kids there? So, but
well, speaking of animation that's on TV, the Emmys, the Emmy nominees were just announced, and snore. Boy, is it like the most obvious titles, the most obvious shows, the most obvious things. And no, I'm not bitter because Tuning Out the News was not nominated.
Was Our Cartoon President on there? Oh.
No. Come on, man. I did think that we had a shot because it was news. It was new, and we've been making waves and stuff. But you know how the voting goes. People don't care about animation. They just see what they know, and then they just vote for it because they're like, whatever. It's that. Whoa, The Simpsons are there. Let's vote for The Simpsons. Did you watch the episode?
Yeah, they've pretty much been cleaning up for years.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But anyway, let's look at this. How about this? Here's a list of the best animated program. All right, the nominees are 5. Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, Bojack Horseman, Rick and Morty, and The Simpsons. Now, obviously, it's for a particular episode. I don't necessarily need to say what the episodes are. The more important thing is just the sheer titles on their own. There was something that was listed. It was of the 5 nominees, 4 were in the running last year. And the 5th, Rick and Morty, won the previous year.
Okay.
Netflix is battling it out between Big Mouth and Bojack Horseman. They haven't won, but Bojack Horseman has a really good chance of winning because it's their final season. So it seems like it's just one of those where
I feel like there's something I'm missing with Big Mouth that is getting so respected.
I would say that I liked it. I don't think it's awesome, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. You did not.
No.
But you didn't like it at all. But I liked the couple episodes that I saw. I thought they were funny.
All right, I'll have to rewatch because I think I missed something.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those. It happens sometimes. Anyway. So short form animated program. So we have Forky Ask a Question. That's on Disney Plus. Robot Chicken. That's on Adult Swim. And Steven Universe is on Cartoon Network. Again, not super shocking. You got Disney Plus and Adult Swim and Cartoon Network. I mean, it makes sense. Although I don't hate it. Children's program. This one I was pretty happy about. Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. I'm glad that got something. Star Wars Resistance on the Disney Channel, and We Are the Dream: The Kids of the Oakland MLK Oratorical Fest on HBO. And then we got character voiceover performance, main title design, special visual effects and supporting role, original interactive program, interactive extension of a linear program, and derivative interactive program. Ugh.
All right.
Anyway.
I guess Simpsons are definitely winning this year, I think.
So of the shows, no, I think BoJack Horseman hopefully will win. But of the shows, look at all the shows that came out like this year. We have Central Park, which is the new show by Bob's Burgers creator. Solar Opposites, which I already talked about. That's Justin Roiland's new show. Oh my God, we didn't talk. Did we talk about Crossing Swords on the lunchtime? Or we definitely didn't talk about it on the show.
Lunchtime. Yeah.
We talked about on the lunchtime program, or just you and me?
No, it was on the show. Yeah.
On the show? Okay, all right. So we talked about Crossing Swords already. Then The Midnight Gospel from Penn Ward and Duncan Trussell on Netflix. Primal, Genndy Tartakovsky's show that was on that's on HBO. Undone, which is from some of the writers of BoJack, and has this trippy rotoscope effect that's on top of it. That's on Amazon. And then you got Duncanville, which is seems like a normal, comedy, whatever show. And then Bless the Hearts is apparently it's produced by Lord and Miller.
I think that was on Fox, but I feel like it was canceled.
I don't know. I don't know much about it. But if you look at the list that's there, I mean, I haven't seen the Midnight Gospel, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't like it because I don't like Duncan Trussell.
I watched. I think 2 episodes or 3 episodes.
But I've seen clips and the animation, the style and the concept of it. I love. I mean, that's a great idea. That's a great way to use animation.
The first episode with Dr. Drew is really great. I love the.
I believe it. I believe that is that would be a good show. I have a hard time listening to Duncan Trussell talk, but that is just that's just the vehicle that they chose to go with. It didn't appeal to me, but it appeals to a lot of people. Sure. Okay, so but that is very interesting, very new, very it's kind of fascinating. Primal, also same thing. Undone, same thing. I don't think Solar Opposites is going anywhere new. Central Park is a musical show. That's a musical animated show. That's interesting. So there are kind of, and that one's on Apple TV, for instance. And we got Amazon in here, HBO Max, Netflix is already on stuff. But there are different streaming platforms. And maybe it's because it's new. Maybe it was because these just came out this year, or last year, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Within the voting year. Maybe that's why. Maybe next year we're going to see more stuff happen. But now with we have Hulu, we have Apple TV, we have Disney Plus, Netflix and Amazon are battling out, and HBO Max, and now we got the Peacock network. I don't know if that's going to do anything. Like, we got so many, CBS All Access. We got so many. I had to, of course, say that since my show is on CBS All Access. But my show, the show I work on. I get one directing job, and that's my show.
Big part.
There's really interesting things that are happening in animation, especially animation on TV right now. So just coming off of that comment that Sony Animation's president made about PG-13 movies.
Something you've never seen before.
Some you've never seen. And look at the list. Look at the stuff that is happening right now. And I haven't seen Infinity Train yet. I want to check that out because I actually just recently saw people posting about it. And then I saw a review from James T. Nethery, who says that it's one of his favorite shows that have come out recently. So I want to check that out as well. There are so many interesting things that are happening in animation.
Close enough.
And diverse things. Oh, yes, close enough on HBO Max. Again, so many, a wide array of things that are being done in animation for TV. And so with that being said, again, the nominated programs this year are Big Mouth, Netflix, Bob's Burgers, Fox, Bojack Horseman, Netflix, Rick and Morty, Adult Swim, The Simpsons, Fox. How boring.
It's like when someone's trying to impress you and you're like really into a certain genre of music, let's say like metal, and they go, oh yeah, I listen to some heavy metal, and they just named all the like well-known bands.
It kind of is like, it is kind of like that. It just feels,
you like Three Doors Down?
It just feels old and like popular, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess it would be kind of like that. It's almost like, I guess if I could extend your metaphor a bit, because you can't really go back to classic metal because they were genre breakers and things like that, but and some still holds up. I would go to new metal. Say that's what it feels like. It feels like, like Linkin Park and and what's Fred Durst? Oh my God, Limp Bizkit and System of a Down,
which I love.
I mean, System of a Down's good, but
it's seen,
it's just
seen Prom Queen
it's
and
like
Queen.
it's been done before.
Like, there's such the obvious pick, like, okay, yeah, of course they're Prom King and Queen. Now I'm just
I guess so.
About the past.
I mean, aren't we all?
I didn't go to prom.
You didn't actually go to prom?
I think I just got drunk and hung out with my friends somewhere. I don't remember. Somewhere in a corner of a street.
Somewhere in the corner of a street.
That's gonna be my memoirs.
Rob Yulfo, somewhere in the corner of a street. Great. Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. I don't know. It's nothing there excites me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they keep doing this. I'm looking here. There was just the Hollywood Reporter Critics Notebook. Can Emmy voters look beyond The Simpsons and Family Guy in the animation race?
It's Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
And right up here at the top, after Adventure Time, Bojack Horseman, and Big Mouth earned their first animated program noms last year. New shows, including Big Mouth, Central Park, Tuca and Birdie, and Undone. Oh, Tuca and Birdie, right, because they would have been up for it as well, because they came out last. And Undone offer voters the opportunity to clear the remaining cobwebs off the category this year. This was posted July 8th. And the nominees just came we're recording this on July 28th. The nominees just came out, I believe, this morning or last night. And nope. They did not do that.
Now,
it's just exactly what it is.
Would you say that Rick and Morty or Big Mouth being put out there, that's kind of different from the Simpsons and Family Guy formula? Would you call that being different, or
no? I would not call it being. Okay, so Rick and Morty was different, but also the thing is, one of the reasons that I am not a big fan of Rick and Morty is because I didn't feel like it was different enough. I felt like it treaded in very safe waters. And you know how I coined that thing, like dumb guy wit? That's kind of what I felt like with Rick and Morty as well. I felt like what I'm watching is stuff that I've seen before that is remixed and kind of like hypnotizing people and thinking they're watching something new when they're really... And I don't mean everything's a remix. I don't mean like everything's based on something else. I just mean when I watched it, it was so glaringly obvious where this stuff came from that it just felt like it wasn't saying anything new, rather than just to put a coating on it of just, some irreverence to throw on top of the stuff. That's just it. I hate that word, irreverence. Just some like edgy whatever. It's kind of that. It was like someone just go, let's just be edgy. And I get that a lot of it felt like people were having fun. So in that part, I liked it. I thought the animators were having fun. The storyboard artists were having fun. The voice actors were having fun. The writers probably in the writer's room were having fun. The directors probably having... Like, everyone seemed like they were having fun, and that came out. It just wasn't... It wasn't something new enough to make me want to watch it, and it wasn't something comforting enough to make me want to watch it. It was kind of this middle ground that did nothing.
But Big Mouth did.
That's to me. No, see, that's the thing, is Big Mouth was very comfortable.
Yeah.
Big Mouth was just comedy, and the sheen that it put on top of it was just like this is a very old thing to have. I mean, South Park was the one that broke the mold to have like kids swear and be edgy, but they still were in school. They dealt with some school-like things, or they dealt with real-world things that were kind of wrapped in an elementary school type of problems that they would deal with. It's almost like Recess, that cartoon Recess, but they made it look like crap, and then and then swore up a storm. Right? That sounds like it's nothing, but that was new.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a half measure. I mean, they South Park took it the full way. Like, South Park went to the logical conclusion of like, okay, if we're going to do this, where would it go? This is where it would go. And then even farther. Big Mouth, it plays in that comfortable place where it's kids, they're in school, we're dealing with like adult type things. It's almost like it's a coming of age story where they're starting to deal with puberty. They manifested it into a real, the puberty monster. And then there were like other ghosts that were there. I think that's probably the weakest part, is just like having like random other whatever.
I felt like it was very like
really,
Adam Sandler movie writing.
I can't dispute that. My point of it is that it just was comfortable. It was just a very easy put on TV, watch, and laugh. For me, Rick and Morty is not a comfortable viewing because it's trying to do something, or at least it's trying to seem like it's doing something new, but it's not new enough to make me excited about it. Because I know where all of it's coming from, because it doesn't even hide it cleverly. It just does it. So I'm like, well, okay, I know what that reference is, and I know what that thing is, and something like Futurama did a ton of references, but wove them together in a way that was interesting. And sometimes would do something new and novel, and sometimes would come back to something that was comfortable. And it rode a very difficult line, I think, at least as far as like, right? That's a very difficult thing to do. I'm not saying it's easy, just saying why something appealed to me or not to me.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't like Rick and Morty. And the thing that frustrated me about Rick and Morty is people talking about how groundbreaking it was and what a great sci-fi show it was. And I thought neither one of those were true. I didn't think it was... I thought it was bad sci-fi, and I didn't think it was groundbreaking. But I can understand why it seems that there are things that are groundbreaking about it. The production that was behind it, the people that were the people and the money that were behind it, the way that it was greenlit, the slot that it got at night, like when it actually went on, the stuff that it spawned. I mean, obviously it was definitely popular enough. I just think that one of the reasons that it was popular is because people who didn't really know any better thought that they were watching something new.
Yeah.
And so it was this kind of, it's this cool hot new thing, when I just thought, no, it's not. But that's okay. If it's new to you, that's fine, but it's not new.
You watch a lot of sci-fi, so I can't really argue with that logic. And
that's totally fair.
Even I know there is a lot of moments where, they don't really like. It's like pouring green juice into another beaker and then like kind of mix it. Like the science is not really that. It doesn't have to be accurate, but it also just looks.
Well, I mean that stuff. That stuff's fine. I don't care about that. Like that's referencing like 50s sci-fi type of stuff where you put like two chemicals together and then poof, and then that's fine to me. That's not what I mean. I mean, when they're talking about like interdimensional stuff, I feel like I've seen think pieces and stuff that people have shared, like, oh, it's groundbreaking. It's like, it's crazy because, it's this other dimension. They're dealing with the feelings of, there's right in this world, and then there's wrong in this world, and then in this world, this one thing changes, and it really speaks to our times. Like, this is dumb guy wit. This to me is you're making more out of this than is there. The thing that is great about Rick and Morty is that it is very, very tight structural writing.
Yeah.
And I like that about it. I don't particularly find it funny, but I would enjoy watching the show if what everyone said about it was true, which is that it was some form of, new and fresh and groundbreaking to me. If you enjoy it, that is a visceral thing that you enjoy. You enjoy watching it. You put it on, you watch it, you may laugh. Even if you don't laugh, you just kind of like watching it. That's one thing. I find it annoying. But that's me to that type of comedy. You probably found Big Mouth annoying, which is why you don't enjoy it. I found it comforting because it's stuff that I know, things I know. That is a very common referential thing. It's probably why a lot of new shows, when they're launched, you watch them and you're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I can put it on the rotation. Yeah. It's safe. It's safe enough. Not everything needs to be groundbreaking. And that's probably also why they're not on the Emmys list. Because something like Undone or like Primal is not something that maybe a casual Emmy voter is going to go, yeah, look at what they did here, and really know the significance of it. And know the significance of its presence in our industry. They just go, Rick and Morty, check. Simpsons, check. Bob's Burgers, check. Bojack Horseman, check. Big Mouth, check. Things I know.
These are all the clothing my kids wear that they brought from...
These are the shows I know. These are the shows I know.
Is that Kids in the Hall reference?
Yeah.
These are the shows I know. These are the shows I know. Rick and Morty.
Anyway, I do feel like I'm always put in a position where I'm coming down on Rick and Morty, like really hard. Like I hate it. I don't hate it. I just find it's worth to not be at the place that it has been put. Sometimes I wish like people would just be honest about that and just go, I like this show. Okay, great. Then you like that show. But to write up articles,
it's like talking to a deadhead about Grateful Dead.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you know what? Grateful Dead is a perfect example, because if you really sit there and listen to the Grateful Dead, you're like, oh, this is the very definition of you had to be there. I gotta get some comments for that one.
It's true.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong about the. Tell me I'm wrong about the Grateful Dead, though. I mean, it's the Grateful Dead is one of those that I feel like that's one of those bands that you graduate from. Mm-hmm. As you get older, where you're like, oh, wait, what? I listened to that. That was a. Yeah. It's just a thing that was like popular at one time, and you look up to the people that are older than you or something, and they were going through that phase at the time, and then you went through that phase at the time, and of course you got the Bears, and then you grow up, and then you listen to it and go, oh, this is very middle of the road.
I like that song, Casey Jones.
That because it's easy to hum. Yeah. And because it's it
doesn't go off on a 2-hour solo.
I mean, yeah.
I noticed Disenchantment wasn't in that in any of these categories.
Disenchantment, it's done, right? It was his last season.
They had a season 2. I don't know if they're working on anything new for it.
Oh, are they working on something more? I thought maybe it was just the season 2. Yeah, Disenchantment was not in that discussion. I heard Disenchantment season 2 was better than season 1. But yeah, that's another perfect example. I feel like I should have a running list of all the shows that are like on that, like almost like a show tracker. Like, here are the shows that are on. Here are the things that because there are actually more that are. There's a lot of like new things that are on. Well, okay, so Disenchantment's also another perfect example of something that was just comfortable, but it almost felt like they wanted to do something new, but just couldn't get there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was like, oh, you kind of tried. You kind of did. It was
almost jokes that like, missed we're on the cutting room floor for Futurama or something. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, but it felt like it wasn't a bad show.
I liked it.
It just didn't reach, astronomical heights. But, I watched that show, and structurally, as I look at it, and the comedy and the story that it goes off of, and playing off of fantasy tropes and genres and stuff, from my perspective, I do not see much of a difference between the quality of something like that and the quality of something like Rick and Morty. Aside from the animation in Rick and Morty's awesome. I really enjoy that. And that's always been something that's been really great. The standout thing for Rick and Morty is the animation. But also the standout thing to me in Bob's Burgers is also the animation. It's not as crazy as Rick and Morty is, but the animation that they do in Bob's Burgers is a wonderful example of how expressive you can get very limited designed characters. And actually produce the show, because like a lot of it is talking heads, but they have a lot of visual jokes in there, like so many visual jokes. I really, at one point he's like on the floor and he's reaching toward the counter, and there's just a pack of straws that have like fallen over. He's like, I'm literally grasping at straws. It's it's so dynamically shot and plays. It's so stupid, but it's one of those where it's like, it's an old joke, and you didn't expect that setup because nobody is going to think of that joke. And it just felt like someone thought of that joke and they did it and they said it. And you're like, oh, well, bravo. Bravo for working that into the episode.
Yeah, I'd imagine the lip sync being difficult too, with no teeth and all.
Because they have no teeth. Yeah. It's such a strange limitation, but it somehow works. Anyway, there's so many exciting things that are out there, and it is a bit of a letdown that they weren't given the attention this time around. But I do believe that next time we'll get some.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that animation's going to be, even more present because of the pandemic. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, that was another thing that we were going to talk about.
The only thing in the categories now is animated projects.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be something that we were going to talk about. Was the this article that was on Forbes that was with live action on lockdown, animation is hotter than ever. But we kind of talked about that in the previous episode because I said we were going to talk about it, and then I brought it up, and we kind of did, kind of didn't. And I'm sure that we'll talk about that more in the future. But for now, I think we can leave it at that. Leave it at this discussion.
Yeah. I would.
Except a little shout out to James Lee, who did that awesome Breaking Up with Adobe.
That was great.
Animated short, the mixed media thing.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna.
Because it's true. I mean, Adobe has been growing a lot. It has been. It's got some stretch marks. It's like been growing a lot in the last year or so, and people just get very, very frustrated. But the thing is, they're trying to get to a place. They're trying to get to a very particular place, which is where there's almost complete seamless integration between all of their programs, and also that all of their programs have some level of mobility to them, and you want that. Everyone knows that they want that. You gotta let them try to get there, and they're trying to get there. They're a very old company, and they have older products, and they're trying to get there by not breaking what they have, and also not having to come up with to run multiple different programs at once. Like, to even put out a program for Windows and Apple is basically two programs at once. Like, that's already a difficult thing. And then if you have to build another program to work in mobile, and somehow that has to communicate with your overall app, the Creative Cloud, to like store your files, and then those files need to open up in the desktop app. Like, there's there's a lot to work out. So I give them a little bit of breathing room. It annoys me sometimes when I just open up. I'm like, the first time I opened up the new Animate, and the one thing, it took me probably a solid 5 minutes to find where the snapping feature is, because it used to just be a magnet icon that you would just click on or off, and that would turn snapping on or off. And it was just snapping was always on. I was like, where's the magnet? Where's the magnet? I can't turn it off. And so I'm like looking all around, and then I go up in the menus and I find snapping, and it's in the sub menu. And like, anyway, I got it. I worked it out, and then I put my own shortcut. But it just like, moving things around like that.
They made all the icons look alike, so it's great. Because now that I started using After Effects more, I think I'm opening up After Effects, but I keep opening up Adobe Animate instead. And I go, oh no. Then I slow it down, and then my computer freezes. Oh, and the media encoder doesn't. I try to send something to the media encoder, and then it goes like, it's not reading it, and it doesn't tell you why. It just says like, yeah, you're having a problem now.
That's probably because you're sending it to the beta. Because on the job sometimes we use beta, sometimes we use stable. You might be using the beta.
Well, maybe they should have said that instead of going, yeah, we have a problem now. You could read about it in a forum, and then it's just somebody saying that they have your problem too. And then the best...
That is so frustrating when I finally find a person that has the exact problem that I do, and then someone's response after it is like, yeah, I have that problem too.
Yeah, and then...
and then the response after that is bump.
And then 5 years later, like, did anyone ever come up with any solution for that problem? Because I haven't.
Yeah.
The never-ending problem. Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like I had to end this with a song.
It's like a Mandarin Nightmare. It's a Tangerine Dream joke. Anyway. We went through a decent amount of stories. I think we're good off of this.
Yeah.
This is
I was going to say, as far as
this
the
is a good.
There's a lot of missed opportunities.
Those two things. That was one, a long way to travel for that, and two, we were done with it. I know,
but then I started talking about other stuff, and I really wanted to have that. The never ending podcast.
It's true. This is what happens. Finding it a hard way to get out of these. Anyway, so thanks again. We just have to close like every one of these episodes now with just saying thanks for continuing to support us, all the patrons, and also everyone who's participating in the battle. It's been really fun to get back to those battle talks and go over all of your fine work. And I have this week off, so we are recording a podcast or two, doing a live show or two this week, which is the last week in July. And I have a relatively light first week in August, so we might be able to get another couple in there. But then I don't have another week off until basically the first week in September. So we're gonna try to get some of these episodes in, because once I'm back on the show, it's just it's crazy time. It's a crazy schedule. So we really appreciate you guys supporting, and we'll try to keep this coming out at regular intervals.
Yeah, and we're reaching our deadline for July's battle, right? Or will this be out by...
Yes. Well, this is going to go up on Patreon first, and then the next week it's going to go up wide.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I mean, maybe not. Maybe no. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will go up this. I'm not sure. It'll either go up like the 29th, 30th. It'll either go up tomorrow or the next day, or it'll go up the next week. I have to look at the schedule.
Versions. If you want to catch up, you better do that battle for July. You missed the battle for July. You blew it.
Great. All right, bye, everybody.